Let's talk about LSU and Florida. Look, this has been a unbelievable rivalry. Not quite as many storybook editions as the LSU Auburn one that we talked about a couple of years ago, but certainly one that's been very, very competitive. UF has won 33 games, LSU 31. There have been 3 ties. Obviously, Spurrier dominated the 90s. LSU's come back and kind of asserted themselves over the last decade. But it's always a game that means a lot to both teams. I know Hester talks about it a ton. I mean, what's your experience like playing against Florida?
Just don't like them, man. Don't like them at all. I remember my freshman year going to the Swamp, and they were just having a field day. They were just having the time of their lives, taunting us on the sideline, Elam running around, just having a blast. It was just a bad day. So to say the revenge factor is not in college football, we'd be lying to ourselves. They came to Baton Rouge, and then we just knew. I think we shut their offense down. We just ran it down their throats. We may have threw the ball 15 times that day, but I just remember there's no way they're coming to Baton Rouge and winning. Like, it's just not happening. Just didn't like them. We were talking and rapping to them the whole game. Just not pleasantries talked about between each other, but just a really physical rivalry. That's what I remember.
You know, I was interested in reading. I mentioned this in the interview with Brody Miller we did back in the first hour, but that Emory Jones, who was not the starting quarterback last year, obviously said that Florida basically sleptwalked through LSU last year. They just kind of knew they were going to go out there and win the game. At that point, Florida's squarely in the national championship hunt. Kyle Trask is squarely in the Heisman Trophy hunt, and obviously LSU comes in there undermanned with 50 guys and wins the game. And that interests me to hear them say that. I kind of understand it in a COVID year in an empty stadium against a team that at that point was 3-5, but you know, it's still LSU. It feels like that would still carry a little bit of weight.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying, man. That's what terrifies me. That's what scares me. There's certain programs you would never talk that way about, but the respect, man, we're losing some of the respect that we've garnered and gained over the past couple decades in the SEC, and that's what teams are from outside of Baton Rouge. That's the way they look at us. They look at us as a team that can come in town, we can have a day against, and that's just not what you want to see. So you have a perfect opportunity Saturday to stop that noise and to get them respecting you as a program, and the only way to do that is go out there and play physical, play fast, and go win that game.
Dan Mullen has had success against LSU moving the football at both of his stops, Mississippi State and at Florida. Florida had not gone over 400 yards against LSU from 2009 to 2018, but the last 2 years they've gone over 450 yards in both games. This is a Florida team that is built on running the football. There's no doubt about that. By this point in the week, you probably know that, but they're second in the country in rushing yards. Their offensive line's only given up 3 sacks, which is 4th in the country. So that tells me they're not going to give up as many sacks because they don't throw it a ton. They run it more than they throw it. But the offensive line's doing a job in pass protection, and they're running the football like crazy, and they use Emory Jones in the run game a lot. He's second among FBS quarterbacks with 478 net rushing yards. So it's a running attack that features a quarterback who is certainly not afraid to run, and that's not even talking about AR-15 coming in as the backup quarterback who can get you for 80 if you're not paying attention.
Yep. You got a quarterback averaging 6.4 clip, and then you got AR going at 14.8. You may as well just say 15 a clip in the run game. So you got explosion from your quarterbacks in the run game. You got explosions from your back who both average 5.7 and 5.8 yards a carry. Man, that rushing attack is lethal, and they don't average 273 a game for no reason. Dan Mullen schemes you up. He puts you in uncomfortable positions with your run fits. You have to be disciplined with your eyes on play after play, know when the quarterbacks are pulling it, and then they'll mix the RPOs and catch you coming up and doing that. So, man, we're going to have our hands full, but it's going to be a great day for Durante Jones to really show why Coach O brought him here. And can he make those adjustments as a coordinator? Because Dan Mullen is probably licking his chops right about now.
Yeah, Mullen's always that way. He's just got an edge. He's got an ego. It's just the way he's wired. And certainly he'll be thinking about last year when he comes into Baton Rouge. As I look at their running game, it's not fluky based on running it up against the lesser teams and not doing it in conference play. They ran for 171 yards on Kentucky, who's got a nice front. They ran for 244 yards on Alabama. I mean, certainly running for 400 yards against Florida Atlantic and running for 363 on South Florida helps, but that's what a good running team will do. You run for 244 yards in Alabama, I don't care if it takes you 43 tries. That's plenty. And look, they played Vanderbilt and only ran it for 181. It's not like they ran it up on them either. They are solid in the running game and have been every week. And that's, while Emory Jones has had his up and down passing for sure, the running game's legit.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for our Tigers. I know we had a good day against McNeese and a great day against Central Michigan, but when some of these teams who we know that's their identity and that's what they want to do, they set their jaws and they say, hey, we're going to run the football down your throat. You better do something about it. We haven't answered the bell. UCLA ran it down our throats in the second half, and you saw the same thing again last week. Kentucky did the same thing. So if I'm Dan Mullen and the crew, it's no elephant in the room. Everyone in the whole stadium's going to know they're going to try to run the ball. So it's up to LSU, man. You guys can have some fight, some heart, and try to stop it.
What's interesting to me is that it's such a balanced attack in terms of who's doing the work. Like Malik Davis and Dameon Pierce are the two lead running backs on this roster. Against Bama, Malik Davis has 10 carries for 86 yards, and Dameon Pierce in that same game, 7 carries, 24 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then you go to Emory Jones in that game as far as carrying the football. He runs it 19 times for 76 yards. So all three guys are very much involved in what they want to do. It's not a situation where it's just this one back that's just going to wear you down and grind you to a pace. They're just going to keep keeping their options open. It's the read option. It's bringing in different guys. You can put 2 backs on the field at the same time. They got plenty of options in the run game, and it's a balanced attack.
Yeah, and you left off Naquan Wright, which is a younger guy on their team, but he's going for 36 for 184, and he's averaging.
He had 7 carries for 58 against Alabama.
So yeah, they go 5 deep in the run game, and all those guys have touchdowns. Naquan has 1, Damian has 7, Malik has 3. The quarterbacks have 2 apiece. They're doing it in every way you can imagine. Yards per carry, touches, yards, touchdowns. They got an elite run game, and that's what we're going to have to see Saturday. They're going to try to do it in every which way. They run RPOs. They run quarterback option. They run quarterback runs, design quarterback draws. Dan Mullen draws it up with the best of them. So you got to have your hands full. It's going to be a multiple attack from every angle and from every way, and they're going to do it for fourth quarter. So you got to have to come with your helmet strap ready to pop some pads.
How much do you expect to see Anthony Richardson in the game?
Not much. Probably some gadget plays here or there. Probably sub him in unless something happens to Jones. I don't know. They really like Jones. He's played okay this year. Ton of yards on the ground. Probably not the year you want to have in the air. Like I said from the start of the season, 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Just not gaudy numbers that you want to see from a quarterback. But I think they trust him to come into a hostile road environment and get the job done. So I intend on seeing a lot of Emory Jones.
All right, you're Durante Jones. You have lost Ali Gay. You have lost Andre Anthony. You are getting Glenn Logan back. At the same time, Joseph Evans is out. What is your message to your team this week, and what are you working on in practice?
My message is, guys, we got to have some fight. Got to keep putting you guys in position to make plays. I know Jay Ward had a couple plays he would love to have back, just eye discipline. It's not in good spots, letting guys just run up the seams. That's just simple covering one man. We gotta trust our run keys, trust our run fits, and we gotta just have a little more fight, man. I think if you can do that, you keep yourself in some of these ball games, and it's gotta be up to the offense if they can score.
It's so important to me. A stat that I'll look at all week is time of possession in this game. It's a stat that has been kind of dismissed in modern football, and I think for good reason. If you can spread the field and go score, spread the field and go score. But the fact of the matter is that Florida wants to wear you out on the ground, like Kentucky did, like UCLA did. And you start to look at some of these games against Kentucky. Florida had the ball for 36 minutes. Now they lost. I get it, but with LSU's depleted defense. If LSU's defense is out there for 36 minutes against this running attack, it's difficult for me to see a way that they hold up. I think they've got a chance early. They've got enough guys to hold their ground early. But if you start being on the field for 36 minutes, at a certain point, I just don't know if LSU can hold up. You go to the Tennessee game. Florida had the ball for 35 minutes. They won time of possession against Alabama, too. LSU's got to do a good job early in this game of getting a 3 and out here or there, and then LSU's got to hold the ball on offense, because that to me seems to be important this week when time of possession.
I keep saying it week in and week out. It's up to the offense. The best way you can help this defense out is you score and you score fast. You saw that in the Mississippi State game. The offense didn't finish the game strong because you did your damage and your work early. You allowed the defense to kind of just play situational football, and I think that's the defense that we have. I would love to have a lights-out 2011 defense, a lights-out 07 LSU defense. It's just not one of those defenses. You're going to have to help them out, put them in advantageous positions to play situations, and that's going up 2 or 3 scores early in the game and forcing Dan Mullen to really think about, can he just run the ball down their throat? He's going to have to pass the ball more and put Emory Jones in situations to really have to use his arm. So if Florida can just hand the ball off to their backs and use their quarterbacks in the run game, it's going to be a long day for the Tiger fans.
Dan Mullen doesn't care if the game's ugly. He won a lot of games that were ugly with Mississippi State, with guys like Chris Relf and Tyler Russell at quarterback who were nowhere near NFL prospects. I mean, even Nick Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy that was just basically a running back there. He didn't care if it's ugly. You give him Kyle Trask, he'll sling it around and score some points for you. You give him Tim Tebow, they'll do some fun things with Percy Harvin running all over the place. But he's not scared to line up behind the offensive line and run power with the quarterback, get himself into 3rd and 2. I mean, Felipe Franks was quarterback a few years ago, and he got him into 3rd and 2 all the time. It drove me nuts. So that's what I expect to see. I expect to see an ugly offensive game from Florida, which is what they want to do.
Yeah, ugly. Quarterback runs, draws, a little trick play here, a little jet sweep there. Just long drives to keep your defense out there, wear you down, so when the second half rolls around, we can just run our stuff and keep your offense off the field, dominate the time of possession, dominate you, make you feel regret coming out here and playing against us. And that's what teams are going to try to do. They're going to try to set our will and be extremely physical with us. And, man, I just hate that teams are having that much success just pushing us around. It's just tough to watch.
It sure is. Value for Chat not predicting great things coming up on Saturday. That's probably to be expected.